If you are looking to climb the ranks and crush in your games, at GameLeap.com you will learn the best ways to utilize every hero as well as other tips and tricks. To fully master your gameplay, make sure to sign up at GameLeap.com at the end of the video. Anyways, let's dive in. So I think Mercy, although she had a pretty good time where she was shining and she was in the spotlight, I think as of lately, she's definitely fallen out of where she kind of was, which she was at this main healer position, and now it seems like she's in this really weird spot where she could be better for solo queue, right? I mean, she's used in the competitive ladder, but really only in certain situations, and most of it's not because of her healing potential, but rather because of her damage boost. I think her damage boost is definitely the reason why she is so strong at the higher level of gameplay. So right now, Mercy's place in the game is kind of non-existent on the solo queue ladder. I mean, you play her pretty much only if there's a Pharah on your team. That's really the only time that you're really getting a whole lot of value out of her. You're able to go up into the air, you give her a lot of healing and damage boost, and you can pocket the Pharah, and that's usually the only time it's really seen. And it's not really the kind of spot where I think Mercy should be. I do think that she's a little bit underpowered, and I think you could probably bring her back a little bit. Just make sure not to make her like she used to be. I mean, I think we all remember just how overpowered Mercy used to be, so we definitely want to make sure we move forward with caution, and we don't want to have her at the state where she's a must pick or else you just like lose the game completely. But I definitely think that she could be a little bit better. I mean, recently she even got a few buffs. She gets her ultimate a little bit quicker, and her ultimate has a little bit more healing. But even with those buffs, she really hasn't changed. She's still pretty much exactly where she was before those buffs, and she's not really picked. Right now, Ana is picked like, I think 95% of the time in like almost every competitive game. I don't know. It seems like just a little too much. I mean, I enjoy Ana. I think Ana is an extremely powerful hero, and I don't think she needs nerfing. That's not really what I'm suggesting. Rather, I think maybe we should bring Mercy up to speed just a little bit. Mercy's always been kind of a main healer, and now she just feels weird. Like she doesn't really have a place, because on the higher level of things, Ana's just better, right? I mean, she has the anti-nade, she has the sleep dart, her healing is better, and especially if you're able to have better accuracy, then you have way more healing per second as Ana than you do as Mercy. And I think one of the bigger things too is that the ultimate is just way better. I mean, Valkyrie is a nice tool for Mercy, and I like it how it is right now, but it definitely isn't an ability that's going to change the pace of the game. I mean, you compare it to other support ults, and they usually have a lot more impact. I mean, overall, I think Lucio and Zenyatta's ultimate are extremely powerful and needed. They're defensive ultimates. And then you have Nano Boost and Brig ult, which aren't as, I mean, they're good. They're pretty impactful. But I think Valkyrie is the weakest of all of the support ults, and I really feel like, you know, maybe it needs a little bit more help. I mean, currently the only time that I ever use Valkyrie, or any time that I think anybody uses Valkyrie, is to basically just keep themselves alive. They use it for the mobility. The chain healing or the chain damage boost isn't much of a factor when most people use Valkyrie. I think Valkyrie it's pretty disposable. I mean, the ultimate just isn't that high impact or flashy or anything. I think the best time to use Valkyrie is I just need to escape and fly away very quickly, and I just go to fly to a teammate and I just move around. The chain healing buff, although the healing got increased by like 10 health per second, I do think that the healing could either be buffed, or I think something else could happen entirely, and I guess I'll get into that. So we know Mercy is a little bit underpowered, but how do we buff her in a way that's not gonna make her completely overpowered and the must pick again? I do think that she's a little underutilized, and I think we can use Mercy in a little bit more situations than just if you have a Pharah. And I think some possible solutions to that could be that maybe we increase the range of her abilities. Currently, I think that everything's in a pretty decent spot, but I don't think we should increase her overall healing per second. maybe you could get away with 5 more healing per second, but I definitely wouldn't want to try and get her like 10 more health per second. I think if we give her 10 more healing per second with just her regular healing beam, I think that would be a little too much, and I think the damage boost is perfect where it is. I mean, it already has the ability to, like, you use it on a Widow or like an Ashe and you just like one-shot people, right? So I think it's fine. The damage boost definitely shouldn't change, and I wouldn't change Resurrect. The Resurrect is still like amazing. Like, there's nothing wrong with bringing a person back to life. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And at the high tier level, Resurrect is even more powerful because there's a lot more teamwork and coordination, and you can supply her with a, you know, bubble or a defense matrix, or you give Mercy a pocket of some sort while she's going in and she goes for that res, and it's just a lot more value. Whereas if you try to play Mercy on the solo queue ladder and you try to get a res off, it'll be interrupted, you might be killed during it, it's a lot harder to pull off. But personally, I do think Resurrect is fine how it is. I think the biggest issue with Mercy at the moment is her healing output isn't quite as good as an Ana. Maybe that's fine because you do need to have a lot more skill and aim in order to heal as Ana, but I do think that maybe you could give Mercy a little bit of something, because she definitely seems a little bit underpowered. And the ways I would do it, I would give her either 5 more healing per second on her regular beam, so she has some way to compete with Moira and Ana, whose raw healing per second is just out of this world. And I think that wouldn't be too overbearing, because if you look at the stats, on average, I believe Ana's and Moira's have about like 6 to 8k more healing than Mercy at the moment. So it does seem like Mercy is in this weird spot where she's not quite a main healer, but also not quite an off healer. And that's my main reasoning why I think she should get some healing buffs, but I wouldn't do it too much. The other thing I would do is maybe increase the range of her healing beam. Either increase the range of it by a tiny bit so she can play a little bit more safer, or make it so if you're playing a Pharah Mercy, one of the things about playing that, which can kind of be a little off-putting, is you have Mercy and she wants to be with the Pharah up in the air, damage and healing her and pocketing the Pharah. That's like what you want to do. But at the same time, if you do that, then the people on the ground, the rest of your team, are going to have such low healing because you're not helping them, because you're up there pocketing, that it's just harder to try and help them out. And I think if you give your healing beam a little bit more range, it will allow you to kind of be in the middle of the air, to the point where you're able to choose if you want to heal your team, you can do that, or if you want to go up in the air and heal Pharah, you can easily do that too. And it kind of just helps her go back and forth between healing her team and healing the Pharah, and not just sticking to a pocket role. Because I think Mercy as a pocket healer is kind of weird. I mean, I don't know. Is that really what we want Mercy to be? We want her to be just this damage boosting pocket kind of character. I feel like Mercy could be utilized a lot more. Her healing isn't terrible. Her healing is just lacking the powerful burst healing, and if you're making her a consistent healer, it definitely feels like Moira has a better edge on that. The only difference between Moira and Mercy is the range, and at the moment I feel like, you know, the range doesn't really help anything. Mercy's range is kind of poor, and although Moira's is even worse, she has so much more healing that it really makes up for it, and you compare that to Mercy's range and healing, it just doesn't compare. I think Moira is a better pick than Mercy, like almost 90% of the time, honestly. So that's just one suggestion. Another thing we could do is maybe just take down more ult charge from the ultimate, or make her ultimate a little bit more impact, because right now her ultimate just feels like it doesn't do anything. I mean, how many times do you go into a situation and Valkyrie is the reason that you win the fight? I mean, it doesn't compare to a support like a nano boost or a defensive ult, which definitely has a much bigger impact in a team fight rather than a Mercy ult. The chain healing is nice, but so you could either increase the healing of Valkyrie by a tiny bit more. They already did that, and I kind of like that change. Having the ultimate add more healing seems really more impactful, in my opinion, and the problem with it, though, is it's only 10 more healing per second. I think it's not as good as it could be. I think for an ultimate ability, the healing should definitely be amped a little bit more. Maybe they're taking into consideration that Ana can nade the team, and then on top of that you have the chain healing, which can be pretty powerful. But I think more often than anything, you're never going to see an Ana and a Mercy. It's such a weird, clunky kind of healer duo. So I do think Mercy is in this weird spot. I'd love to hear what you guys think. I don't think that she should be buffed too much, and we should proceed with caution, because because we don't want Mercy to be this broken must-need pick like she's always kind of been, but I do think that she's just underutilized and in such a weird spot where she's just getting picked. I think like less than 5% of the people ever play Mercy, and I guarantee those 5% of the time where people do that, it's just because there's a Pharah on the team. Personally, I think there's a lot more we can do with Mercy. I think she could use some help. Either make her ultimate have a little bit more impact, more healing, a little bit more range, or maybe even make the cooldown on Guardian a little bit better. I mean, 2-second cooldown is already pretty good, honestly, but I don't know. Maybe make the res range a little bit further while in Valkyrie form, and maybe that'll help her, or maybe increase the movement speed while rezzing while in that form. Make it feel a little bit safer to go for the res when she does that. Either way, that's all I really have for today. I feel like Mercy's in a really rough spot and she needs our help. I don't know if we want to buff her too much because I don't really want to see her outshine Ana. I think Ana is perfect how she is right now, but I do think we should make Mercy a little bit more viable. Anyways, guys, I'm really curious to hear what you guys think. I'd like to know in the comments. Please let me know what maybe your solutions are for Mercy, and maybe we can have kind of a conversation and communicate, and we can kind of bounce some ideas back and forth on what we think would be really good for her. Anyways, guys, that's it for this video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Now, let me tell you about our website, GameLeap.com. We are dedicated to help you improve in every aspect of Overwatch, so you can win a lot more of your games. With hundreds of advanced guides already made and new ones released daily, GameLeap packs the biggest database of pro player guides available. Every single video is created either by a top 500 or pro player and covers every aspect of the game that you could imagine. This includes breakdowns for every single ability, hero playstyles, positioning, VOD reviews, team compositions, and much more. This is even without mentioning all of the extra features, such as stat tracking and the ability to consult pro players on the forums. Go ahead and click on the link to join GameLeap.com. We're confident that you will get the most out of it.